folks, I'm Brian. Welcome to the Japanese Whisky Review, where today I'm going to chat about Nikka From The Barrel. Now this just happens to be one of the very first Japanese whiskies I bought back in 2009. One of the first 6 different Japanese whiskies that I've got. And I know, elephant in the room, according to the Japan Spirits and Liqueur Makers Association, it's not Japanese whiskey. And even on Nikka's own website, they don't class it as Japanese whiskey because there is some Ben Nevis whiskey in there from Scotland, a distillery which Nikka owns, and quite frankly is a complementary style of whiskey to especially Uichi. It's known as kind of more of a heavier, oilier, thicker type of whiskey. So it's quite complementary to the blend anyway. But it's still got Nikka homegrown Japanese whiskey in it from Meigikyo, Uichi, and the grain distillery site that Nikka has on the Meigikyo site. So I've probably drunk or owned at least 15 or 16. I've lost count of these over the years. So I've got notes in my whiskey review site, the blog, and I'll put a link in and you can go in, just type in Nikka From The Barrel. I've got a couple of tasting note reviews, and I've got kind of ratings for a number of the batches, and I normally call them circa the year that I've tasted them, because they do vary a little bit. So it's always worthwhile going back and checking it out again if you've already drunk it before, because there can be variations in it. So it's a blend of 100 batches of whiskey, blended and then put in used barrels again for another 3 months, hence the name Nikka From The Barrel. Age statement, obviously it's a no age statement, so I can't advise. Nikka's website doesn't advise, but it certainly doesn't taste young like some of these no age statement blends do. So I've done up a few notes, and I'll talk about how they marry up to what I've done before. So anyway, this is the glass I've been using, this Chichibu glass for the tasting. So what do I get from this tasting wise? So on the nose, I got malt, vanilla, brandy, red grapes. I think there might be a connection how I'm picking up this kind of brandy red grape note. Toffee, oranges, red berries, some grain whiskey, not tons but some, cacao powder and oak. On the palate, again malt, orange sherbet, there's quite this zesty zingy bit to it, fudge, roasted chestnuts, which I think I've found before in this, rhubarb stalks. There's also a good spice hit, warmer spices like pepper and chilli powder, which I always like in a whiskey. Cacao powder, nutmeg, red grapes and mango, because most people pick up quite a bit of fruitiness in this as well, and it's medium bodied, this one, so circa 2022. On the finish I get red grapes, red berries again, the mango, cacao powder, oak, a touch of bitterness, tangy oranges, a little menthol, and then when I was thinking about the finish, I actually started with kind of a short medium, so not short and not medium. Bit of time on the palate I went with the medium in length, at a rating of 86 out of 100, which kind of puts it in between other batches I've had. So some I've rated in the low 80s, and on my blog, if you want to see how I rate and what the scores mean, you can just go in there, and I think I've got a link to one of the tabs says how I rate whiskey, something like that. So you can check out what those mean to my mind. This one, yeah, is kind of in the middle, and the best batches I've had have been 90, 91. And one of the main reasons is, when I talk about medium body and the medium finish, the better ones, and it will just get down to the constitution of the blend, what's going in there. Is there, more sherry casks? How many sherry casks have they got? And of course they're trying to make Nikka From The Barrel taste like the last time you had Nikka From The Barrel. But it's this punch. The bigger ones really explode in your mouth. And it's not something you can just track down. You know, oh, I can go and find a 2009 model. This stuff is wildly popular, and I've recommended it to tons of Scotch drinkers as a gateway to Japanese whiskey. It's just the power I've had before. So even though they're always 51.4% ABV, some of them just felt like they've got more grunt, more body, some more flavour, certainly swirl around, and certainly the length is long instead of medium. Next year, I could do a 2023, or the year after when I buy, I've got another full bottle. Maybe they'll, you know, maybe it'll rate a 90 again. So, here's Nikka From The Barrel. Still the best bang for buck Japanese, not quite fully Japanese whiskey you can buy. Absolutely. So if you're a first timer, recommend it. If you're a Scotch drinker or drink bourbon, recommend it. If you've tried it before, try it again. I think I paid maybe $45 or $50 for this. In Australia and other countries outside of the US, we only get the 500ml bottle. Where in the States, you get the 750. So still highly recommended. Still bang for your buck. Next video. Right, I'm going to talk about this. Hibiki Japanese Harmony. And I've got quite a history with this because I remember when it first came out and I first tried it, and up until now. So I'll talk a bit about the history, plus I'll do a tasting on this one here to see whether it's gone up, down, in between, whatever. So I'm going to do that in the next video, so look out for that. Some tasting notes, a bit of history about it, and my personal history of this whiskey. So anyway, guys, Kampai, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.